Hello everybody, Reggie Time here with a live play session on a Tuesday, just turned into afternoon. I'm going to do like a brief update on what's been happening for the last week and then play some live poker. I guess the first thing we look at is this, my results for the month so far. They got off to a good start here, up nicely, then it didn't go so well and now we're trying to recover. Now the reasons why, I think there's reasons, I'm pretty sure there's reasons, I could be making excuses, but I try to be honest in these situations. Oh yeah, please hit like and all that shit. On Friday, which was the 3rd, where you can, I think it was the 3rd. No, Friday was the 2nd, sorry. I got, was it Saturday? No, it was Saturday. Saturday the 3rd. My son got in touch with me in the morning to say that he'd been playing badminton with somebody who had subsequently tested positive for COVID, and that I'd seen my son after that, etc. I'd seen the same boy on the same day, the same man who tested positive. Now I wasn't in close contact with him. I didn't play badminton with him, but my son did. And basically, my son, he hadn't been contacted by the test and trace people because they're fucking rubbish. Well, yeah, but that's what happens when you basically ask shit private companies that are your pals to provide services for you. But we're not getting political. Fucking forget that. I'm bored of politics. I'm bored of everything like that. Basically, my son got contact traced, so I mean I couldn't see them, and it was my second son's 21st birthday on the Sunday, and so obviously it's a really important birthday, and I couldn't see him because I need to protect my mum. She's 83. She's diabetic, so I couldn't risk like going and seeing the kids and taking them to see my mum on my son's 21st birthday because I wanted to protect her and keep her safe. Probably being a little bit too cautious, but I'd rather be much too cautious than be than having a lot of deep regrets looking at a coffin. So so I was fed up with that. That pissed me off a little bit. So I didn't play much poker on the Saturday. I was doing stuff with my wife, etc. So Saturday off, fine, no issue with it. Took a day off, no big deal. Sunday, when I should have been seeing my son, I took his birthday cards down to him. I had a socially distanced chat with him for 10 minutes or so. So I saw him, but it's his 21st birthday. We should be slapping backs, having hugs, all that sort of thing. So that made me quite low, actually. I was quite disappointed and sad with that. When I came home, I tried to play poker, and I shouldn't have, because I just wasn't in the mood. Now, fortunately, on Sunday, as you can see, the 4th, it wasn't a disaster. But then I tried to play again yesterday, and I was still in quite a low mood. I should have been going to work, but again, because I work with vulnerable adults, I didn't want to go to work, just in case I was like carrying the virus without having any symptoms, etc. And so I tried playing poker, and I just wasn't in the mood. And this is where I think I made the mistakes. It's bad enough not being in the mood, but I spent the entire session, and as you can see, it was a pretty long session, because it takes a while to get 1,000 hands in these clubs. Pretty long session, and I was fucking around on Facebook, on Twitter, in Discord groups, just not paying attention, playing really shit, bad, passive autopilot poker, and I duly got my ass handed to me, and I fucking deserved to. I absolutely deserved to. I didn't want to play again this morning, really. It's kind of like, fucking, I hope I don't lose again. Very rarely I put like 3 losing sessions together in a row, and I kind of almost didn't want to play, but then we've logged in. We've seen the games, and we're kind of duty bound to play. We've got a 100-nil game running with a pretty decent. I mean, this game was better 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. When I started the video, there was another fish here. Now there isn't. But we've got this guy here at this table. We've got 3 blue tags and him who I don't really know, but he seems good. by his results. Statistically, he seems bad, but by his results, seems good. I suspect he may be a tight heads-up player who's playing some ring. And then this table, as you can see, is pretty damn nice. So it's part of my job, you know, and I'm a poker player. I play poker to supplement my income. And when good games run, we just got to get out there and grind them and pull my head out of my ass. So I played a pretty cautious session so far, and that's how it's going to continue. Just making sure that I'm not doing anything really shitty, passive autopilot. Like when I don't play well, my B game or my C game, or maybe not my B game, my C game is kind of autopilot's non-believer. But not very aggressive. So kind of autopilot, a passive game, non-believing game. So we're playing, instead of just playing two tables today to, excuse me, to try and make sure that the focus was right before we added a third, and it feels like it is. I haven't been distracted yet during the session, and I'm probably going to be playing for another. I'm not sure what time the current Mrs. Regan gets home today, but I'm going to play till she gets home with a young lady that we'll be supporting this afternoon. So I'm going to play for at least another hour. I can't see her being home before like 1:30, but this video we're only going to record for maybe 35 to 45 minutes. And hopefully during that time we can play some good poker, we can play well, and hopefully drag some pots. This was meant to be more of an update video than a live play video, but I didn't get round to recording all the hands, and now we've got like a catalogue of 20 on record that I'll probably just use as like background visuals for my video later in the week. Although if this is an update video, there probably won't be that much to re-update. Oh, I didn't mean to min raise. I meant to 3x. Don't think it's going to make a huge difference. I was checking to see if anyone was like an aggressive 3-better behind. If they were, I was probably going to go with the smaller raise to try and induce some lighter 3-bets, but then there wasn't, and I just min raised anyway. Hopefully this guy's thinking about it. Normally when the delay gets it, an aggressive action follows. Very rarely a delay and a fold, especially pre-flop. Just the call though, and then we get a flop that we're not in love with. Don't like the limp off that size. I think we're going to get limp shoved on a fair bit, but he's 67.2. He's going to just be limp calling a lot as well. This guy's delaying again. Against the 60/16, we just need to raise here and try and get the money in before the board gets too scary. And if he's got us, then he's got us. Do I want to isolate ace-10 off from this position? Don't think I do. Don't think that I do. So we've got a min raise here and then a tiny 3-bet and a flat call. We're going to have ace-jack out of position in a multi-way pot. No thank you. That's not on my wish list. Looks like we got out the way nicely with our ace-jack. Look at this clicking back war. Go on lads, that's it. Click it back, click it back, click it. Ace-deuce! An 8-7. Sweet baby Jesus and the orphans. What are you doing, sir? You're not getting there, we know that much. See, this is what like stats, they can be confusing sometimes because this guy's 39-14 and bad. So 14% pre-flop raise. You wouldn't expect too many people with just a 14% pre-flop raise to be min-raising ace-deuce off under the gun. So like it's where stats can sometimes send us down a wrong path, because the ace deuce would not have been, in my opinion, in like the range of hands that I would be. Can't get it in. Yeah, ace deuce wouldn't be in a typical 39-14s under the gun raising range, you wouldn't imagine. I mean, I played with this guy a lot, and it surprised me that he turned up with that hand. So maybe he's living up to his name and he's Mr. Tilt right now. Maybe he just loves all ace X and he's always in his under the gun min raising range. I don't know. Now we have a friend of mine, well, a friend, an online contact who I'm familiar with, opening from the button. I think we're going to go with the 3-bet here, I think. Prefer it to calling. I think I prefer it to calling. I know him pretty well. I think if he was to 4-bet me there, well, it wouldn't matter, we'd have 8-7, but I don't think he's going to 4-bet bluff very often. I think he's going to fold a decent frequency because he knows I'm in it. That was a bit of autopilot there. Probably shouldn't be folding the, and it turns out it's probably for the best, but I think that probably should have been a complete. Would have been an interesting flop. Or we maybe wouldn't have got to see it because we'd have completed, he'd have raised, we'd have probably folded. I'll forget to hit the call time, Reg. Already done that. See, I'm not sure about this guy because he looks, I mean, he's winning. This winner of fish is like the amount of times you've left the table as the biggest winner versus the amount of times the table's closed as you being the biggest loser. So he's obviously got a good record in that sense. But then I've just seen him, virtually min 3-bet 8-7 suited from middle position. So, well, if we're just going by his statistics, he's probably not a good player. He's also not playing 100 big blind stack, which is usually an indication that someone isn't, a really good player. So I think, like, on balance, I'm going to treat him as a losing player for the time being, even though that suggests he isn't, and just keep an eye on him. I'm not familiar with him. I guess he's either new to the club or he hasn't played on the same schedule as me yet. With the big ISO here against the 58-10, hoping not to get 3-bet, because 3-bets in these games, as you can tell, 4%, 2%, 4%, 5%, 2%. They're usually quite nutted. Do pick up the call. This guy hasn't check raised yet. Just going to have a stab and then shut down unless we improve. That's what I look at quite a lot now when I'm c-betting. Not how often people fold to c-bets, but how often they're being aggressive versus bets post-flop. I think it's a decent indicator of how they approach post-flop, rather than, I'm not too fussed if a bet and people call, it's fine. It's when a bet and get raised, it tilts the shit out of me. So I tend not to bet too aggressively against people who have a high check raise percentage. There's a lot of players I would call here. I think the a6 off isn't good enough to call with really, and I don't want to squeeze versus my friends under the gun open because he's pretty tight and he's going to have a pretty strong range, I would imagine. So this guy's called pre, he's called a squeeze, effectively putting half his stack in, and then he's just folding the flop. I mean, this guy is your classic, like, tight fish reg. He rarely, 20 big blinds is his style. He buys in that. Occasionally he'll top up to the max, but yeah. As you can see, he's played 26,000 hands and he's rarely the biggest winner, rarely the biggest loser. And that'll be because of his buying strategy, I would imagine. I guess he's a losing player. All these games are soft enough where maybe he isn't. These two going to war again. I guess we see a bet from him. And, well, probably call versus that sizing, unless he's got complete air. Not the flop we're hoping for, multi-way with the ace deuce in blue. Now I'm trying to lead that big here. Very confident he's very strong. Must my phone always fucking ring when I'm making a video? Take a stab here with our overs on a pretty dry board. Get called, shut down now. Spade's not a good card. We can be crushed by a lot of his holdings now. Do we value bet now? I think we do. Very small and hope not to get raised. We get raised, we're folding. There's probably mother phoning me there. I'll be going up to see her shortly because since we got the COVID notification, neither my son or myself or my wife or any of my other children or their household have developed symptoms, so you can't hide away forever. It's been 6 days since I was in contact with the person who is infected, so you would hope by now if I did have anything I'd be showing symptoms, so Yeah, can't leave mum on her own too long. 83, widow, lives alone. Can't have her getting too lonely. Or maybe it's just an Amazon hoax. We got about 3 Amazon scam calls yesterday. Don't even get a chance to abuse them these days because they're just automated messages. Preferred it when scammers used to actually try and talk to you. There's one once, a guy phoned up, tried to tell me that I had like a virus on my computer, etc. You know, the old scam. You probably, if you're in the UK, you probably had it. So I talked to him for a while and pretended that I was doing what he wanted me to do and played along that I was scared, and then insulted him as vilely as I could for about 10 or 15 seconds until he hung up. And then, and this is not a word of a lie, the guy had the cheek to phone back. My wife answered the phone, and he asked who I was and complained about how rude I was, which was possibly one of my favourite scam troll moments of all time. But I was very rude and very unpleasant. A little bet here with our open ender. We get called, so we are going to take our free card, try and realise our equity, which we hopefully do. Here, multi-way, king high flop, not much going on. Just going to check, and I think we need to raise this river and then just not fold, just to kind of commit ourselves. And if he's got a full house, then sucks to be me. Looks like he might have a full house. Hopefully it's just an 8, but it looks like a full house to me. Same hand. We'll take that, I guess. Because when he just like 3-bet the river, then it's always value, and we don't always beat all of his value. Checking back here with the kings on the ace, calling some rivers depending on sizing. Against that size we have to call, and just hope he hasn't peeled an ace on us, which he did do. Never mind. Just the nuts. Just the nuts there. Well, not the nuts, but the effective nuts. Two limpers already. You can overlimp with the 5s. Prefer to win the button when I overlimp, but I think it's fine. No dice. And we have a pretty big all in here, considering the a king jack that we can see, and king jack gets out of it with a chop. This is like another regular. He seems like a nice guy, to be fair. Not sure how well he does overall. Again, probably beating the games, but probably wouldn't beat games in other places. He does seem like a nice guy. He's chatty at the table, friendly. Not sure he watches the videos or not. He does call me out a few times, not in a bad way, just chatting, or maybe he's just a friendly guy. If you do watch the videos, next time you're in chat, give us a shout that you do watch the videos. This guy trying his best, hanging on with his 4.5 bigs like it's a tournament. Just get me a double up, back in the game. King Jack offsuit under the gun. No, thank you. Kind of not got the best seat here. I'd rather have Zach's seat. We've got like a relatively aggressive regular to our direct left, which kind of handcuffs me a little bit in what I can open. And then we don't have the best of position on the two players at the table we'd most like to be in pots with. We just races up here. 7 bigs. I'm happy to get it in pre with either of these guys, given the action they've taken so far. Very rare the over limp's going to be doing that well against our ace 10. King 5 off. Yep. There you go. So now we have this regular who's limped under the gun, which is slightly odd. It's going to over limp here with the 9-8 suited. This is weird. I'm not going to bite. I'm not going to go with a raise, because getting a limp raise would suck. So we're just going to proceed with caution, because the limp was weird. Yeah, don't understand any of what's going on here. Who knows? Just shaking my head at that one. When regs limp under the gun, which is such a rare move, I'm always very suspicious that the limp raise is incoming. This table's a bit sucky now, to be honest. We have 3 regulars and this guy who isn't mega loose. So I think possibly we're going to bail from this table and pause the recording while we fit another one in. Oh, no, never mind. I'll keep it going because someone's come back. Is it the same guy as a minute ago? Is it the same guy just come back and reloaded? I'm not sure. Yes, it is. Hopefully he reloads a bit fatter than 20 bigs, but we'll see. Yes, always reloaded fat. We like that. He's gone with the fat reload. Here with the 4s. game. We're just going to overlimp the button with our pocket pair. We have a top pair here, which is going to be good for a C-bet. And we take it down. So it's been a pretty uneventful session, which I don't mind when I'm on a kind of like a composure recovery mission. I'd rather have had a session where we just ran really good and cool at people, but next best thing to that is just having a session where we feel like we regain some control of our actions and our game and our emotions. Still fed up with the situation, with the whole COVID situation. It's beginning to really get me down now, because I see a lot of people with different opinions to me being quite vocal, and that annoys me. And then I either say nothing and just think you're a prick, mate, or I end up getting involved in some stupid debate on Facebook or Twitter which never resolves anything. But yeah, I'm an opinionated guy, and if I see opinions that I disagree with, I typically tend to challenge them. And then, like I say, nothing good ever comes of it. And then I just spend the day like, I'm really annoyed at fucking Jonathan or Jason or fucking Jim for being a fucking idiot, when they're not fucking idiots. They just have a different opinion to me. Well, some of them are fucking idiots, but generally it's just people having different opinions. And I used to be way more tolerant of other people's opinions until I became more politically aware, and now I've decided that I hate the opinion of almost every fucker ever. I've become pretty intolerant to opinions I disagree with, and that's not a good way to live your life, is it? Just like being intolerant of other people's opinions. It's not good. It's not how I want to be. Someone's thrown me a banana. Good job I'm not fucking... Mind you, is he throwing it because my... No, I'm only kidding. Only kidding. I think it was Zach who threw it. I was going to say, is he throwing it because my avatar is black? I know that's not the case. I was just being a bit provocative. But I shouldn't be. Shouldn't be trivialising those things. I think Zach's a 4-bet or fold sort of guy. Maybe not 51% 3-bet, but we're going to just flat the 10s anyway. If we 3-bet and then we get 4-bet, then probably just have to fold my hand, and I wouldn't like that. I've been squeezed by the regular. I think we just need to like back race here, and I mean I hate these situations because if we're going to be flipping off fucked, but our hand is kind of under-repped and he is somewhat aggressive. Once we make it this size, we're never folding to a jam, of course. Pretty pleased we just got the fold there. I don't want to see that flop. I wish we got some action. I'm just not into the whole reg versus reg thing. It's not what I'm into. It's not my style. But of course, you need to engage in it. Otherwise, you'll just get ran over. Now, I don't mind being ran over by regs when I'm in good games, so I just put up with it. But there you go. He had such an easy squeeze spot that 10s just becomes too strong to fold, in my opinion, and we don't want to be calling it and then playing out of position to someone who's going to have a decent clue of what they're doing post flop. I'll just get it in there, well, raise there, you know, hopefully having fold equity, or be flipping sometimes if we are forced to punt. But I don't like doing it. And that's kind of in that day there. That's kind of what I ended up doing a lot of. That was taking flips versus aggression, or things I thought were flips, and turns out they weren't always flips. And then when I was flipping, I wasn't flipping well. I don't think we can see bet the sevens here into two players. Leads out for half pot. Don't think we can fold them yet either. Although now a second player's come along, I am just going to make the tight fold. This guy only check raises 3%, so we're going to bet our hand because it could probably use some protection, but it does also have some backdoor goodness to it. So this guy donks wide. We can tell that he couldn't continue on turns there, so something to bear in mind. Donks half pot wide with a question mark because we don't know. It's just a suspicion at the moment. I should go block advertise on this site because just the very sight of Donald Trump makes me want to kill kittens. I absolutely despise paying this man off because he just doesn't bluff. But I think we have to kind of... It's going to feel really dirty, but I think call turn and then probably just fold a bit because he could be probing slightly weaker hands for value. But when he jams river, it's just never, ever, ever a bluff. And we just have to exploit him by overfolding. So yeah, we're going to get close to winding the video down now. Like I say, it has been relatively uneventful, which I will take as a session, but not the greatest entertainment for the video. But I don't have time to make loads and loads and loads until I get one that I like. We just do the recording and we bash it on out there. How are we doing on the session? We made a tiny bit of money over the session, not a lot, but I'm happy just to stem the bleeding. That's someone really needs to get hold of me, I guess, on the telephone. I guess it's Mother. We'll wrap it up here with the video unless something interesting happens. It doesn't look like it's going to. So yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Take care, everybody. We're back with another video later in the week, probably Friday. Until then, take care, stay safe, and goodbye for now.